Shalom, shalom. I do want to start off this lesson by saying all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, for giving the opportunity to do this lesson. I do want to give double honors to the elders and Apostle GREATMILLSTONE for teaching the truth by using precept upon precepts and line upon line. Alright, in this lesson I do want to get into today, or the topic I do want to get into today, is about the assassination that happened today. Alright, a man got shot in the neck. He was one of the conservative party, influence in the party. He always was, repping their belief, and everybody, and there's an uproar in America. A lot of Edomites are crying because their beloved have passed away, and the other side of Edomites are not crying because they're happy because this guy died because he wasn't their part of their political view. I'm not here to talk about who's right, who's wrong, if I'm with this guy or not with this guy, because I'm not with nobody. I'm not, if nobody ends. I'm just with prophecy. All right. And this situation that happened with this assassination is bringing an uproar against America. It's kind of is an example of how the political party has split America apart to the point where there's going to be Egyptian against Egyptian, like prophecy says, a civil war. All right. And Canadian Prepper said it the best. He said that with this situation that happened, this is going to lead up to a civil war. This is going to lead up to a war where a conservative is going to go against the Democrats. All right. And they're going to start, warring at one another because they're going to blame one another for the assassination attempts. All right. Because that was, a heavy hitter. He was, I don't know how to explain it, but he was very influential. All right. He had families, all right, that he's not going to see again. He had many things going for him, even with the presidency, and he got shot. And they don't know who did it. They don't know who shot him. So it's going to be a rough time, and it looks like it's building up to the Civil War because they're going to start blaming somebody, and they need somebody to blame. They need somebody to blame. All right. So the scripture I want to grab, book Isaiah 19 verse 1. All right, and I'm gonna play Canadian Prepper because he said it much better. I was watching the video and he said it much better. They're gonna start a civil war. All right, and they're gonna use that civil war as an advantage to bring in their new world order. All right, order out of chaos. They're not gonna waste a chaotic event. They're not gonna waste that because it could be proved useful for the people upstairs to basically bring in their laws and regulation that they want to bring, total control. All right. So anyways, I want to go to Isaiah 19. Let's go to verse 1. It says this: the burden of Egypt. All right. Egypt's talk about America. All right. The place Israel was in captivity was in Egypt, and now Israel's in captivity in this day and age in America. It's being symbolic. All right. Who are the Israelites? So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So it says the burden of Egypt, the burden of America. All right, what does the word burden means? All right, I should grab my laptop real quick to get that definition. But the word burden means this: a burden. All right, burden definition: a load, typically a heavy one, a main theme or a gist of a speech, book, or an argument. A load, heavily. All right, so this is a load that America must carry in the future. It must be fulfilled. So this burden, this load, this heaviness is of America. Behold, the Lord Yahawah rideth upon a swift cloud, talking about the chariots, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved out of his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. All right, the heart of Egypt talking about the people. They're gonna be scared of the day of the Lord because the people's gonna see YAHAWASHI in his in his UFOs. All right, talk about that in the last video. Literally go on my channel and you can see it. It's like 30 minutes long. All right, but yes, the only begotten Son is gonna come on ships, and you guys call them UFOs, but those are actually the chariots of YAHAWASHI. But continue moving on to verse 2. It says this: and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So YAHAWASHI is going to set the Americans against the Americans. And that's happening right now. This assassination that happened is splitting America apart. Some people is celebrating this downfall. Some other people is mourning. You know, it's a split in America, and and very soon it's gonna get more rough and rough because the conservatives are gonna start shooting the liberals, and liberals are gonna start shooting conservatives, and next minute later you have a civil war in your hands. All right, it's leading up to that point. All right, and that's all part of the scripture. It says what? I'll set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's happening right now, kingdom against kingdom. Did not Putin just attack Poland, causing NATO nations to activate Article 4, leading up to 5, where World War III is going to happen, kingdom against kingdom? That's happening as we speak. So we're in the end time of prophecy. We're in a time where YAHAWASHI prophecy is being spoken, and it is coming to life. The assassination attempt that happened today, all right, and he got shot in the neck. It was coming out with blood. It was just spilling, you know. And it's all over, not Instagram. It's all over Twitter. So if you guys want to, or X, if you all want to see it, I advise you just go on X and you will see it. And it's gruesome, you know. It's gonna be very soon. It's gonna be a reality check, man. It's gonna look. These prophecies are gonna come to life, and all you people that laugh and scoff, you're gonna realize the prophet was telling the truth. You're gonna realize that our prophet had been among you, you know. So let's go to verse 3. It says that the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the chambers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to do wizards. Basically, they're gonna start serving these strange gods. They're gonna go into witchcraft. They're all gonna try, they're gonna try to see what's going on in America, and it's not gonna work. It's gonna fail them. It's gonna deceive them. And that's what's gonna happen in the past. But the scripture I wanted to grab, especially, was verse 2. Egyptians shall be against Egyptians, America against America, a civil war. And we're gonna see that days. Let's grab another scripture real quick. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. I believe it's verse 14. Start on verse 14. Let me see. Yeah. Let's go here. 2nd Esdras 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. And that's going to happen in the Civil War. What's going to happen? One people's going to fight against another. One people's going to shoot at each other. Just for political reasonings. Just for political ideologies. This is the assassination attempt that happened today was an example of how far America is in prophecy. How very close are we in a civil war? It's very close. All right. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means uproar against their rulerships. Because they're going to blame a lot of other people's going to blame Trump for what happened. And they're going to go against Trump. For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their acts shall stand in their power. What is their power? Their guns. And therefore do whatever they want, because they're seeing their nation falling apart, and they want to save it. So they're gonna kill everybody that they believe that is making it wrong. That means Edomite's gonna kill you Jakes too. It's gonna be a mass murder spree in America. All right, martial law is gonna be stepped in to stop the killing. Trump's gonna bring out a new world order. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be multiple things happening all over the place. One thing's happening here, one thing's happening there, one thing's happening there. War III is happening in the Middle East. America got to go there and fight Russia. It's gonna be hectic. It's going to be hectic. All right, verse 17, a man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. Why? Because everything will be locked down. Everything's going to be in martial law. Everything's leading up to prophecy. Everything that we had said in the videos and the highways and byways is coming to pass. It seems far-fetched. It seems, out of state because, it seems diluted, but it's coming true every single day. If you really was paying attention, you will see that the prophet had been telling the truth. Civil war is going to come. A civil war against America is going to come. I believe in the book of Matthew or Luke, it says, a nation can't stand when it's against each other, and that's happening right now. Let's get it real quick. A nation can't stand if it's against itself. I know it's in Luke, so I just need to look at the Mark too. Oh, book of Mark says it. Let's grab the book of Mark then. Book of Mark chapter 3. Let's start at verse 23. It says this, Mark chapter 3 verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them a parable. How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And we're in that age where America is against itself. And you think it's going to stand? No, it's not going to stand, because it's going to destroy themselves. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan rise up against himself, he be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. And that's what's going to happen to America. It's going to come to an end. A house fighting each other. They're fighting another war conflict. Now they're trying to kill all the prophets. It's all over the place, man. It's all over the place. You know? And that's all I want to talk about. You know, prophecy of how civil war is going to come. I'm not into the no political thing of, oh, I'm in this side, I'm on this side. No, I'm not. You know, I'm going to make that clear in this video, so nobody don't try to come after me saying, oh, you support him, you support. No, I'm not supporting nobody. I'm just trying to tell you what it is. And civil war is going to come. All right, let's play this video so he can explain it much better, because he does a beautiful job. Canadian Prepper. I advise you guys watch him, because he always bring out information what's happening all around the road and brings it to like a, you know, one clip video. It's like a recap. So let's play it.
That I'm always looking at this thing from all angles, and I see a lot of people already fanning the flames, right? Doing what they do with the rage bait, trying to get everybody worked up, trying to get everybody to take to the streets. And if you want to be a part of that, by all means, I'm not stopping you. I'm not here to give the prescription. I'm just telling you what's going to happen afterwards, because it's clear as day who benefits from this, and it's not the people who are involved. What you need to be doing, I just said I wasn't going to do prescriptions. What I would recommend a person do is focus strictly at this point in time on you, your family, your extended family, your community, to get prepared for this whole thing to come undone. Because if I was on the brink of a major world war, there ain't nothing like a civil war to create the conditions that you could use to optimize your readiness posture in all respects. So I am very concerned that while this might just be the product of depravity and the run-of-the-mill degeneracy that we've become accustomed to, it very well could be something far more sinister. So I would exercise caution in getting wound up, because I think there is somebody who is banking on you doing that. And I can't quite pinpoint what exactly that is, but I know that people getting emotional and people becoming even more supercharged in their radicalization will only...
Would this make you buy a Ridge wallet? 2 people could win a Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, a Hennessy...
People becoming even more supercharged in their radicalization will only cause the problem to get much, much worse. At a period of time where we've crossed a red line with the war in Ukraine, with the biggest nuclear-armed nation on Earth. And there's nothing the government would like more than a convenient distraction in the United States to take attention away from their foreign policy, which is falling apart. It is totally falling apart. If that is not evident by now.
Basically, he's trying to say, if you guys, if you want to, because I'm not going to play his whole video. You should watch it for yourself. The title's right there. Let me do this. Title right here. Alert, Civil War, U.S. Article 4, NATO close airspace. Yeah, airspace, Russian nuclear forces on standby. So you can watch it. Canadian Prepper, or no, Prepper News, not Canadian Prepper. Slovakia is Prepper News. That's the channel name. Watch it. It's pretty. He gives you a lot of information, but he's basically saying that America's gonna cause a civil war. They're gonna start a civil war, so they could distract you guys from the real situation that's happening with the Ukraine war in Russia, because it's getting out of control to the point where they're going to war, and they want everybody to be, distracted from that, so you guys won't protest to end the war. All right, so they're gonna try to make you do a civil war, so they have a reason to bring in martial law, and you guys could stand by and sit down, and they tell you what to do, and you can't do nothing about it. That's basically their plan, and it's according to prophecy. They do that. It brings in the 2nd chapter 15, where it talks about how a man desire to go in the city, but they won't be able to. Why? Because it's martial law. And it brings out the civil war part, because now people's gonna fight one another, people's gonna kill one another, and the sedition of part of prophecy too. How it says a man shall, therefore there shall be sedition among men. They're gonna be going up against their authority. Who? Trump, because Trump's gonna be one that's gonna bring in the martial law, and they're not gonna like that. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be a lot of things happening in America, and it's gonna happen very soon. That's how I want to talk about. The assassination that just happened today is basically a precursor of what's going to come. That's all I want to get into today. Louis edified by this lesson. I do want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH for giving me the opportunity to do this lesson. I do want to give double honors to the elders and apostle GREATMILLSTONE for teaching the truth by using precept upon precepts and line upon line. Shalom.